you.
Okay, here we are. Greetings. So, we'll do an introduction and.
Yeah. Hello, everyone. I'm here with Ivan. I'm Peter. We're just going to do a video with Prime Creator. I've got some interesting questions. So, and if someone else comes in after that, it's all good. We'll see what happens. So, I hope everyone enjoys.
Greetings, this is the Prime Creator, which will have to all. Good evening and good morning, Earthlings. Glad to be a part of your, in this way, to connect to your race. So there are questions. I have answers. Hopefully, appropriate ones.
Much love. Thank you very much for coming in. It's awesome.
For your world, a blessing to your world. Do not allow fear to control you. Allow love to come into more of your life. Many do have fear as they go into their car or walk through the streets, which is understandable due to the conditions. When you have more love, where everyone has more love and more understanding, you will not have these problems. This world has a long way to heal, as you can see. This timeline has been beaten quite a bit by negative energies, of course. But these are great tests, but with this test, many will see love come through their lives shortly. A more better definition of it, let's put it that way. So whatever you're already at to put that up there. So.
No, thank you. It's awesome. I just got some just fairly random questions for you. The human form in the Bible, Genesis 1:27, God created man in his own image. I'm just wondering, I'm drawn to that for some reason. I'm just wondering if there's if our image was already selected a long time ago, or if you can tell us a little more. That's what I'm feeling, getting the feeling on that.
This was already considered a human world in the beginning. Of course, other beings did not care for that. Reptilian, and there are others, but it was to enhance the human experience, take it to a new level, and you've taken it to another level for sure. To a direction that no one ever saw coming, for sure. So this was, yes, it was the plan from the start. Your other worlds are humanoid are Saturn and Jupiter. So this planet becoming humanoid was inevitable, as those worlds were learning how to handle a place like this entering their solar system.
Wow, that's interesting. So they were very much humanoid and getting prepared for this
Of course, insectoids try to change that, and reptilians, but many insectoids try to push humanity off this planet. We're unsuccessful, as you can tell, but there are many here, as you can see, for many reasons. Different agendas there, as you can tell.
Yes.
Some are
Yeah.
there to help the earth, and some are there to bite you and drink your blood.
Awesome. Okay, so I'm guessing we'll stick with the human form
Please.
a little bit. So how are humans different than other species? We have greater range of emotions, or I don't know, better at some things than others?
Well, this race of human, Earth, human, however you want to label, Earth, human, has more emotions. It has a vocal vocabulary where many worlds, animals use telepathy. Majority of them use telepathy. But many have going back to, yes, like their movies, going back to sound to become more human-like, as for bring more emotion back into their life. So many, your aliens are, many have had voice, but many have evolved from it. And evolving from it, they lost emotion. They have emotion, but nothing like this world. This world is the insane asylum of emotions. It's much more, there's probably a better way of describing that, but it is one way of looking at it. Human is, yes, here very powerful, but not aware of its power because it has added fear and much anger around itself. So it is like a hot dog bun that is, or you put yourself in a prison is another way of looking at it. Individually, many have done it. And many that are leaving this prison find it very difficult to live in your environment because they have no fear. But they find it difficult to connect with anyone because they wish to connect to like going to a grocery store and talking to whoever. Many are not ready for that, as you can see. Some are, most aren't. So it's very difficult in this environment. But how they're different is a vast difference DNA-wise. It is a difference in many animal species on your world are learning how you did it and trying to duplicate it. Your greys are trying to duplicate it on different levels. So it is a unique place. You can call it royalty because of DNA. It is a royalty planet, yes. But a very difficult one because with royalty comes consequence where humans think they're better than each other or too much insecurity. They make it more difficult than it has to be. So there is much what this world can do, human-wise, as it moves into higher vibrations. And this vibration, it is limited, but it can release it. But it is quite powerful than other races, yes, by far. But still, you are still equal among all alien races in the long run. Because where this one cannot figure out how to be friends with everyone, all other races, quite few of them are very friendly to each other. So this world has a lot to learn.
Okay, I see. So our range of emotions and false beliefs can greatly expand our experience more than other races, I guess, that we...
Other races are learning how to have that lust as this world does, that emotional lust, where they have completely lost it. But they are still very kind to each other, of course, but they have evolved so much where they, yes, cannot reconnect. But many species are constantly trying to be human, at least this version. A more positive version of it, not the negative version. Trying to do it without the negativity. And some find it very difficult to duplicate what is on this world, emotion-wise.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, gives me a lot more insight to why races copy us. And
Yes, they always come here to, yes, because it is like an amusement park, you can say. They come here because they've never seen this before. Where they all are tapped into each other's minds. They all work with each other, and they come to this world, and it's quite the opposite, where everyone's against each other, and no one trusts anyone. Of course, that's not everyone, but it's a good amount.
okay, it's really interesting.
A war zone as this. Still has a lot to go by. Many worlds are very friendly as they walk through their streets. Well, they don't call them streets, but where they get to know each other very easily and become lovers. And your world is very difficult to do that, but they are used to it in other realities. And some call it catcalling on this world, but in other worlds, it's quite easy to approach someone. In this reality, it's not easy to approach anyone. So they're still trying to reconnect to their other lives. Of course, that is, they don't know how to communicate with anyone because it's very difficult to communicate with each other here on this world, as you can tell.
That's very, very interesting that you say that, because I know people that can say things that might seem rude. If other people that are a low vibration say the same thing, people get offended.
Yes.
So when it's at a higher vibration,
It'd be a different story.
The meaning is not the same. Yeah,
Yes.
It's not negative.
Yes, but they're used to doing that in a more positive way. It's just in this reality is very low density, as you can tell. So that's what comes out instead. It is what you were all taught. You're taught something differently. But yes, it is quite common in other worlds where strangers meet all the time and love blossoms. As for how long it goes is another story. But it's not really that important. It is that experience. It doesn't have to be long. But your world is not understanding that. It does, but it does not. It is, everything is more difficult here, as you can tell.
That's really interesting. Okay, so I'm guessing that's with other races, alien races and beings and spirits are all at different densities or astral. And when I channel, I feel like they're very light, very a light density, and I'm interested that this third density, that touch is totally different here because it's a lot more dense. It's a lot more. So alien races love to come in and just feel like just even touching the tips of your fingers to feel the density. So yeah. So but I had a interesting thing with some angels where I went into the spirit realm for a few minutes. And my vision was a lot clearer. Colors, everything looks solid. Nothing looks really solid here to me. It all looks a little wavy. I don't know why, but
You're seeing through the dimensions, that's why.
Okay.
You're seeing some more fourth and fifth, which is a good thing.
That's awesome.
Look at your reality as a hologram. A very real one in your reality, but it is very much a hologram.
That's awesome. Okay, so is there anything more about the
touch
and the vision? Is there anything more you can add?
It is like seeing paintings in a museum, how you like to touch the artwork that is done. It is same here. You want to see what has been created, as you can tell. It is not done on other realities. There are other realities that do have, but still it's quite unique here. It is one way of looking at it is like coming to this world is like coming to a museum. You can watch but do not touch, but sometimes you're allowed to, and when you do, you are changed forever. As for aliens connect to you. When they connect and they're given permission, you give them permission. Of course, they're not doing anything malicious. Well, for the most part. There are other ones, it's another story. But anyway, for the most part, it is very friendly. And connecting to you, they download much data from you instantly to know what you are going through, what your emotions are at that time, how you were as a child. They don't go into too much detail, but they go into the basics of what you've been through. Say if you're 30 years old, they see like a catalog very quickly, a briefing of what you've been through to get to where you are and where your DNA is at that time. And they just know much about you, not everything, just to make you feel more comfortable about all this. Of course, even if they did see your private, whatever you're doing, they would find it quite intriguing. They would not be, it's either way.
Like a movie.
Yes, the humans have much going on. It's just, yes, it's not easy being human on this world, as you can tell. Greys walk around nude all the time. There's many beings that walk around nude all the time and have no problem with it. Human is like you're covering up something someone has never seen before. That is quite humorous.
I was actually interested. Like, I don't think there's a lot of aliens that wear clothes like that. There's a few humanoids.
They might wear a little bit as they come to this world, and some do prefer clothing, but it's a part of their culture, whatever is part of their culture, but many do not. That's true. As they go up to higher vibrations, they don't need clothing, of course, because everyone sees the whole picture. And it's much easier up in those densities as you get down to where, for example, where your world is, everything is quite difficult, as you can see, and wearing clothes is probably the better idea. Because you cannot fully trust everyone here because of the low vibration. So walking around a suit of armor, that would probably be a good idea on this world.
Fair enough. I totally understand.
A suit of armor. Yes, in this environment, it is quite understandable. Many females probably think they would be better off with a suit of armor in this reality, especially how the males act in this environment. It would keep them all out of trouble. So,
yes.
At this environment, yes, but at the higher dimensions, yes, the clothing usually disappears. Some of them do keep it. Some of them enjoy having clothing, but many of the higher realms do not bother. Your angels do have much clothing when they connect to this world, but many of them do not have. They have garments they wear just out of respect of other species that they're connecting to. It's like you have flying around a naked angel. Of course, that does happen. A naked angel flies around. But it's whatever your preference is, so they do change their clothing pattern depending on who they connect to also. But there are naked angels on your environment, of course, if you wish to. I imagine many are looking forward to that visualization.
That's awesome. So, I take it the angels they just come in any form they wish.
Yes, they do.
And so
mostly it is what people would like to see. Of course, sometimes with the sword, that is true. It's very controversial. With the sword, like with Michael with the sword, or any angel with some sort of weapon, it is a way of clearing negativity, but it's also showing up like you're here to start a fight also. Showing up with no weapon at all and just love, just their appearance is more than enough. But many do feel like they need to see that because that's what they've seen in the paintings and their belief systems. But it has its purposes, but without a weapon, it's probably of the best. But, of course, it is whatever you'd like to connect to, of course.
I'm it's bringing back a vision that I had of a humanoid, like a man with a bald head in a warrior uniform, bringing a big ball of light down to me.
Yes.
Globe. I connect to that sometimes for some reason.
Yeah.
Is that an angel or a guide?
That is an angel.
Okay. That's awesome. Yeah.
I'm getting the name Artemis.
Wow. Well, that's awesome.
Yes. He is a guiding light angel to clear out negativity, and he is on this world. There's several versions of him on this world. Of always using lights, especially around children, to keep their light shining bright. keeping also the vibration of their parents up also does help greatly. But he is in many places at once. And there's many similar to him.
That's, yeah.
There are female versions of that also, of course.
Okay. I'm guessing, I'm just curious,
Yes.
because this universe is really big.
Yes.
And so we can see from what our scientists say, 13.5 billion light years one way and 13.5 billion light years the other way. So it's 27 billion light years. Is it? And they reckon that it's much bigger.
It's much bigger. It's a long walk from your world, yes.
Okay. All right. So that's, yeah.
Yes, to tap into more humor. There are many naked angels in that area of the galaxy. Also, and much of your Earth will still eventually grow to fill, meaning when your Earth, as it goes into a higher vibration, eventually when it gets there, there's no rush. But when it does, we do see it assisting this universe in its expansion. Also. It's always expanding, but we do see this world assisting with it greatly. It's already assisting already, but filling it with its information of creation. It is already doing it, but it will push that further as it goes into more of the higher realms of fifth density.
That's a really interesting point, because I'm feeling that you made this universe as just the base for us to co-create the universe.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay.
Worlds, you create worlds, you all have the ability to create them, or how many you wish, or however dimensions, universes, it goes on and on. We're all gods in the long run. We all connect to each other. It is difficult for human to see that because human took the harder path to learn, which is fine. But it is very difficult for it to believe all this also, which eventually will. Trust me, it will evolve. It is just, even the souls here are begging for awareness and they don't even know it. Of course, they call all of this nonsense, but still within themselves, they're begging for answers. And when the answer comes, they say, that's not the answer I was looking for. So it takes a while to adapt to this type of connection. But yes, go ahead, please.
I guess that brings another interesting point, because our thoughts create our surroundings. And I'm just wondering, so if we have a memory as a child, that is an astral, we recreate that in astral or something, do we? Or when we connect, or is that kind of like a time travel?
As a child,
it doesn't
necessarily have to be, well, it is
like a hologram.
It does not necessarily have to be an astral. There are realms of dimensions that are not mentioned hardly ever. Dimensions of memories. They can call it the memory dimension. And each of you have your own memory dimension. So when you go there, you're normally there by yourself with your guides, of course, loved ones. It is usually a personal experience when you go back to your past. And it's very real, as it is happening right now, because it is. Because those events are continuing, because there's no time, so it's continually happening. So you are still going through those events sometimes. Even if you're 30, 40, 50, actually, if you're 50 years old, you're still holding on to your childhood, where that childhood life is still happening within you, and you're still connecting to it. And it's up to you to disconnect that, but you can still always go back to it. You can go back to any part of your life. So the memory dimension give you that.
That's just interesting.
Interesting. It's all personal. It is, no one else can go in there unless you allow them, and you will be able to see this for healing purposes also. You can use it for healing. Visualize ask for the memory dimension to come into your realization, come into your life for healing, to let go of a parent that was not very kind to you, whatever it might have been. And ask for healing from your angels and your guides. It's one way of going about
Oh, that's curious because I did a past life regression just a little bit. I mainly channeled what the information I got,
it.
I believe.
So, yes, you did. It was successful.
And thank you. But what I learned from that experience is that we are just, if I went to a past life that was similar to now, because that is, so if you do a past life regression, you're just connecting in another version of what's going on now. What lessons you're learning now, is that
another version of it? You're going into that lifetime. It's actually that version you're connecting to. The version you're connecting to. It still exists. It did not go away.
okay, so what I picked up, it was a similar experience. So if you did a past life regression to get to remove a blockage that you have, you actually are experiencing the same thing in this reality anyway.
Yes.
So
it's like you can do it like computer files, how it's duplicated but then slightly changed. It's one way of looking at it, but it's actually your whole life that's been duplicated. It happens all the
time. Okay. It's just interesting that like people talk a lot about going into past lives to clear like blockages where it happens now anyway. So
when you're doing that, you're actually going to that life there to help yourself push away from it, but it's still existing. It's still going on. It still lives within you. Nothing's stopping it. That life, your lives are all simultaneously still happening. It's difficult for humans to truly connect to that because of their time, but nothing stops. Yes, more of this strangeness is going to come into your reality. As you know, the spirit world does find frustration as their information is humanized by humanity. It's like, what does that world truly know? What does humanity know yet? It is still figuring itself out. So, but that's one thing.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you. So I'm curious that you mentioned earlier about this world being like a hologram, and I watched a documentary just on mathematics, and the thing is that our physics laws and that, like for acceleration or E equals mc squared, all those little formulas, they follow the real world exactly. And they, the mathematics and physics stuff, always wonder about how, because if the world wasn't mathematically driven, those formulas would have exceptions. So this would work, but it wouldn't work at this point. There would be a variance. So they add in a lot of variances within the calculator, but they all follow formulas exactly. So
yes, it's the formula of this dimension. Yes. Of course, there are other dimensions those calculations would never work because they're calculated totally different. But that information was given to those for good reason. Arcturian, I believe Einstein was of Arcturian energy. He had much others, but he had much Arcturian, and his mind was open for all this to flow into him easily, as many are on your planet. Not all, because some they're you can call them humanoid robots in some degree because they're just mechanical information gatherers, as you can tell, to help things along. But that they know that as they come in, because they do, some of them lack emotion and understanding. Of course, Einstein was quite different.
That's quite interesting because I've tried to waken people up to the fluoride in the water and different things that it's bad, and show them that the fluorides in was started originally in the Nazi Jewish concentration camps to make them more compliant, I guess the word, for a better word. And yeah, people don't want to know. You try and tell them. It's not in the media, so it's not true. And yeah, they have to. I just wanted to bring that up.
Yes, it has, because these are individuals who are trying to find joy in their lives, and they don't want to believe in any of this. They're still getting used to this environment. Many are still in their first incarnation here. Some of them have several, and they're just not really interested in hearing it because they have so much they want to do in this dimension. And to tell you that you cannot drink the water is almost an insult, or it just doesn't feel right. But they have so much here to explore. That's the last thing they want to hear. Those that are listening have been here for quite some time and have seen many things and quite understand. They understand that there's more going on in this reality, but they still cannot fully understand it all. But that does not surprise many. Even at a young age, they already have awareness of the controllers over this world, to put it that way. And many are not really ready for that information, as you can tell.
Okay, that's very interesting.
Some do find eventually, it depends on if everything started going wrong in their life, they'll start opening up to who is ruling this world. That happens here and there. Many that are on unemployment do have much time on their hands and do look into the world and say, why is this happening? Why did I lose my job? And then they go and they find your Illuminati and on and on. So many that did not, and there are those that did lose their job and still continue on the control path. So there are many that are not ready for it yet. And most of them.
I had to go through that a few times and bad relationships to wake up.
Yes. Yes, some do need a knock in the head, which is quite fine. It is fine. It is part of your path. And others is not part of their path yet.
I'm curious about lessons. There's major ones we come here to go through. And I had a lesson on fear with negative entities. And as soon as I totally no fear. And when that happened, and when I learned fear and discernment to know, learning about which thoughts are my own and not pushed onto me, and thoughts and feelings. So I learned discernment and fear. So it's just interesting that none of that's around anymore, which is so when you've done your lesson, everything clears out.
Exactly.
On to the next lesson.
Yes, there's always a lesson after that, a different kind. Most of humanity is not ready for that. Most are still living in fear and under the control of paranoia. And have to be entertained by television or some sort of media, football, whatever it is. So they are just not ready to see the full picture. Nothing wrong with that, though. It is part of their processing. They have much here to understand. Many do employ themselves quite well. So why change that? Now, if that changes, as I said, then they'll have to go down the rabbit hole, as some call on our world. They are forced to look at it differently. That's why some do see a world economic collapse to do much good. In that regard, yes, it will wake up many, but it will cause so much damage that your world's not ready for it. Your economy collapse is in the future, but in a way where it can be done subtly, where there will be many affected, but still the majority will be more than ready for it spiritually. But that is sometime in your future. Not to worry anytime soon.
Okay, that's awesome. Thank you. So I'm guessing I'm curious about, there's a lot of misinformation about clearing blockages and like a little bit, like it just seems everyone's going on these blockages and had, I don't know how to explain it. Sorry. Just
Take your time.
so there seems to be a lot of focus on it, but if you really have something that needs dealing with, it'll come right at you, sort of thing, won't it?
Yeah.
Like you don't have to go looking for these. Like if you've got an issue or blockage that you need clearing, you already know about it, don't you? You don't have to really go.
You don't necessarily have to go to a healer, but some do because they're not ready to heal themselves yet. They're still exploring, trying to understand all this. But many can't heal themselves, but you have to be knowing to yourself that you can release this negative blockage. Know that will be released, call on your angels, call on your guides. And it will happen, but you have to have a full confidence in that, but full understanding of your spiritual place here. Meaning, some do need healers in the beginning as they understand all this. But once you get used to how to deal, it is like learning how to fix a car. You can say, sometimes you do need a teacher, and after a while you learn how to do it yourself. Let's put it that way. So there's nothing wrong with having a healer to assist. Eventually you will find your way if that is something you wish to do. Many still take their car to the auto mechanic because they don't have time for it. So look at it that way. There's nothing wrong with having someone else assist you, but you can always assist yourself. So healers will always be needed. Yes, go ahead, please.
That's awesome. Thank you. I'm just curious now. A recent blockage for me was stress with doing my program. Mm-hmm. A lot of stress, mm-hmm. and had angels and a lot of help, and and I had a blockage channeling, and Trina, a fairy, helped me a lot with that one.
Yes,
and I realised that I was already open to channeling. Yes, which is quite interesting.
Yes.
I'm guessing. Do I have? I feel another blockage, sort of, kind of that I'm doing. I feel like I'm fasting, and I'm not hungry at all at the moment. I feel like I'm coming into my authentic self.
Yes.
Is that? And now, when I do that, when I fast, I feel a lot more open to feel a lot clearer.
Well, notice that the stress level around you is not that thick as it used to be.
No.
The more stressful you are, the more hungry you might feel because you need something to calm your nerves down. You need to throw down a pizza or something to just put me somewhere else other than Earth. You need to
coffee and chocolate.
But when you have a stress-free environment, you become less hungry, less dependent on this world's food. Yes, we'll have some here and there, of course. You'll feel much better. Your vibration will go up, and you will be, singing with the angels, if you want to call it that. But if the rest of your world would follow your direction, or those that are similar to what you are going through, will bring your vibration to your world up in a higher density, and the world can heal itself in a day if it'd like to. It is possible. So your example is shown, and there's others, of course, that are similar in your position. That it is possible to raise your vibration and to make this new earth come into fruition. It is very possible. But many do walk around with anger. Your news has much anger around it. You see these things, and they're done on purpose to take human away from its positive side.
That's awesome.
Yes.
I feel the only thing that I need to do now is like I really just want to keep fasting while I'm not hungry.
whatever you feel healthy is. Your health is in great shape at this time. And you are following your body. You are talking to your body also. You are having a decent conversation. Not everyone has that, as you can tell.
Okay. And that brings I guess my body. They say everything's fine to eat and that, but with coffee and milk, it just seemed to upset my stomach. So it's fine for, if you suddenly feel like you don't need to have something anymore. Everyone's saying, oh, you don't have to give up stuff, but I don't know. I just feel like I need that at the moment.
Whatever, everyone's different. So,
yeah. So the point is to listen to your body, really.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, it's good to hear other people's point of view. There's nothing wrong with that. And see if it works for you. If it does not, but not to take your belief systems and ram it down.
No, I'm not trying to. I'm just saying.
Not at all. But many do that in their world, as you can tell.
Yeah. Because everyone's saying, oh, coffee's okay and that, and milk, and I'm just going.
Everything is okay if you know how to level out its energy and heal it, such as your water also. You can heal that also. But how many have the time for that when you're worried or stressed out and can't think coherently as it is? And they're going to go heal their food before they eat it is the last thing. And if they do, they might not do it effectively because there's so much stress. And your money system was brought here to this world as a stress monger to lower the vibrations and keep this world under control. So what your path is, others will see and duplicate it as they are now, but more will eventually see it. And you, as you're in your journey, you will see a more positive world. Of course, I believe you already see it here.
Yeah.
So it does come to you in glimpses as visions. And others will see it your way. And it's showing that this is all possible, that we're not just aliens and angels that are coming here just for the hell of it to break bread with everyone, just talk about earth flicks and, chum around that fire for no reason, just give you guys a chuckle. Of course, we're here to do that too, but there's much more to it than that. It is to raise one's vibration as the direction you're going. I want to always say others because there are others.
Yeah, of course. I feel angels are a lot more humorous than
yes, they are.
What they come across.
I feel like other side's like a big orgy. So we wonder where humans get it from. Point to that place.
Yeah, they just seem funny. Like
course.
A couple meet out at town, and it's like, okay, let's take bet. She's going to take him home. Exactly. It's just funny. It's just funny stuff, though.
Of course, yes. And your religions have taken the fun out of angels and everything. Well, it'll eventually lighten up over. It's got a ways to go.
Yeah. It's
very
interesting.
Into a comedy festival of more positivity, then your world's going in the right direction.
Wow, that's awesome. Right. I don't know. Have you got anything else that you want to?
Oh, yeah, that's your humanity. To be peaceful with yourself. To find laughter wherever, even if it's nasty humor, at least it's some kind of laughter, whatever it might be, to raise your vibration. Some do have a warped personality here, a warped sense of humor. Nothing wrong with that. You're not wishing harm on anyone. You're just something you find humorous. Okay, some do go a little bit too far on that, but for the long run, as for is it peacefulness to everyone, as for kindness, but laughter is a great healer, and much in your world still has hard to grasp that because they're afraid they're going to go to hell or whatever dimension that your world is throwing at them, is to relax, not to worry. Everything that you need will come to you, but when you add stress to it, it's very difficult for those things to come. Of course, many are part of tests right now where your riches and gold or whatever it might be you're trying to reach is several years down the road for good reason. Because you have many lessons between now and then. So once you get your treasures or whatever it is, you will be able to handle it better. So there's reasons why these things take time.
So, talking about that, well, I feel like my program's already working. I've just got to like play with it a bit.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the sort of vision I'm getting. Just run multiple tests.
Yes.
Like little. Yeah. So
there's not much I can add to that. That is between your guides, but yes.
That's awesome. Yeah.
So, yes, I have nothing else to add to this. Well, this peace and harmony to humanity. And two, yes, not take your Sundays too seriously. It is difficult for many to find joy in their lives because some do have jobs they don't care for. And it's difficult to bring joy into those careers, which is quite understandable. But realize you will find happiness eventually. It is hard to find it when you're in a job situation that does bring you much misery. But we do see many taking their vibration to a higher realm. But does the job must go eventually, as many jobs will. But your world's going through a transformation also, where it will be all right when that happens. Because it is going through it is on its way to transformation. I believe you see it as automation becomes more part of your world, robotics. So expect that. But also expect a grand awakening also with your aliens in your spirit world. They are not going to stand away too much longer. They are coming into your dimension soul more than they ever have before. So if there's anything else, how will you be?
No, thank you. Much love and light. Thank you very much.
And happiness to all. See you on Earthflix. Blessings.
Blessings. Namaste.
Oh, greetings.
Greetings.
Okay. All right.
Did you record that? I didn't see it up in the top.
Yeah, it's all recording. Yep.
Oh.
You have anything you want to add?
No, thank you, everyone.
Yeah, but now that you want to promote anything or anything?
No.
Okay.
I'm good.
All right. Okay.
Thank
We
you.
are recording and soon we'll be off. Okay, much love, everyone. Blessings. Thanks for joining us. And we might have another one of these maybe next month. See how things go. Or sooner. All right. Much love.